Okay, hello guys, and I hope you are doing very well on this week challenge. So I am this time I want to let me just stop this to optimize the internet. Okay, so we are this time today we want to run a short tutorial on SQL data analysis, especially PostgreSQL. So how do we get our hand in. So I get you already submit. So today we are Wednesday. So you did the interim submission yesterday, and I really hope you are doing great on this challenge because as Yabi already tell you, it's actually very important because it's nothing related to prediction, machine learning, but it's like relating to how do you manipulate the available data for a given company and so a database which has a lot of tables so in some in short word big data and how do we query those databases and how do you actually get some insight from SQL scripting and yes then how do you actually report and how do you automate your report so that at the time the data comes the dashboard just updates it. So I can also see some the community engagement is actually high because you are just I yesterday I looked at some of the question and some of the participation. Uh, yes, for example, so Ilekula is not here, but so some other people also was just answering questions to help each other, and this is really great because this is what we need in the data science department. So I'm just happy about you, and I want to just tell you, yes, you should continue on this way. And also, so today I want to give a small talk about uh, data type and also so yesterday I was supposed to give a talk on SQL statement. So we will talk about that one too today, and maybe it's but whether maybe I will start from there, or no, I will just let me see, depending on. So I will start on from the SQL statement, and then we will have a small talk also on the data type to get you comfortable when you are working with those tables because I know there are a lot, but in the challenge we selected those which are actually the most important, and you should really focus on those ones. So if you run the div model file, the div model.sql file, it will actually create a lot of tables, but just focus on those who are really important, and from there, yes. I didn't yet also look at your interim submission. I will do it today, and but I know you are doing great. So I think yes. So from this time, uh, I will just share my screen, and from there we can start our discussion. Okay. So I hope you can just see my screen. So I want to okay, that's it. What I wanted to cover is this thing I have been trying myself to see how you can be how to make you comfortable working with SQL, so especially PostgreSQL. So I guess you can see my screen, right? Can you see?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure. So I think I want to Let us start with the SQL statement. So you already know all those things. We refresh about them on the pre-assessment week, and also when you are competing for your admission here, you have been dealing with some of them. So I know that you know them. So it's for me, it's about a kind of refresh. And also, there are a lot of relational database system, and Postgre is actually one of them. So I don't really know. For example, me, I was not using Postgre before. I was using MySQL or SQL Server, but the syntax are looking like the same. So I just want to give you a short introduction to that one. So we will talk about the where statement, the distance, the group by, the order by, uh, the having, the aggregation. Let's say um, some so average is the same, count count is the same, and minimum and maximum. So they are all the same. So they are the main aggregation function. And what else? Yes, so the sum where how to combine actually the sum with the where, how to combine the sum with the group by. So it's the same thing with the average and the where, and also so here is it's also the same thing, average and where. So it could just be also the count function and the where close. Yeah. So it's just really depend on what you want to do, and then the join. Yes. So how do we do those things? So they are the main things you need to know when you are analyzing such database. So you will have to filter, you will have to order, you will have to select, you will have to select this thing, you have to group by, you have to join. So it's really the statement you actually need to well performed to actually you have your tables, and there are some questions, and so I guess those questions you have to answer from Python, but it's actually nothing because one difference is you have to connect your Python with your Postgre, and then you will just provide your script in the Python environment as a string, and then it will run it. So it's not about using pandas, for example, but it's like just running SQL script, so PostgreSQL script, but just from Python. So it's the same thing. So the only one steps you have to go for is the connection steps, and we shared this late before. So how do you actually connect it? So I hope you also succeed in doing that. So I think this time what I will do is to connect with, let me open, I will try to do it from command line. So I will, how do I connect with so I have a lot of database. Let's say I want to connect with the 10 Academy one. So let's say we already created the 10 Academy one, the 10 Academy data set. So I did it on Monday, and then let's say we want to connect with this database, and then from there we can just create a table, and then yes, start looking at the statement. So let's say I want to, so okay, PSQL, and then I will just click the user name, so the Postgres, and then what else? So I think the database name, so I think it's okay, it's asking me about the password. Let me try to, oh my god, it's not okay. Yes, okay, I did it with, I have some error. So here it's Postgres and not post with I. Let me run it again. And oh, no. What? No. Let me see. Yes. So we did it, and yes. So now we are connected to the 10 Academy. Yes. So I already show you how to actually get the list of all the tables in this database. So this is the model database tables. Yes. So we can. Yes. So there are actually a lot of tables, but just focus on the one which are very important. So about 400. So you already know that. But what I will do here is to create another small table to actually apply those things as much as possible. So let me just copy this example, and let me see if I can do it. So create tables actor. So I want to create the actor table. I want to create columns. So they feature the columns of the tables. So one of the first column is the actor ID, and the second one is the first name, and then the last name, and then. So I think let me just run. Okay, so it's has the table is actually created. So now I can just select all the data from this table to see if I have any entry. So let me just select all from uh, actor and then semicolon. Actually, I don't have any. I don't have any row inside this table because I didn't put any row. But at least we can just see the columns. So the actor ID, the first name, the last name, and the last update. So those are the information we want to have in this table. So what else I will do is to insert some data. So I have this example. Let me just. Okay, let me just split it so I can just copy and paste. Okay, so insert into, so you already know, so the create tables is also a statement. So the statement to actually create a table in a database, a PostgreSQL database. So this is the create table statement we have used to create the actor database, the actor tables in the 10 Academy database. So now so I already select all. So what else I will do? I will just start inserting some value. So let me start this semicolon at the end to make it run, and another row we can just okay semicolon and then okay, and another one, and at the end semicolon, and then another one. So the last one I will just set. Okay, so you can just, oh no, it's you see it didn't run, so I will just put the semicolon to make sure. Yes, so it's done. And so we can just modify also to insert more and more data. So now that we have inserted some data in this table, we can just select also the rows to actually see the information we have. So before, the first time we selected those rows from this table, we didn't get anything because we didn't insert anything. But this time we have insert some value, and we just want to look at the values to see how our tables is looking like. So I will just run. Let me deselect. So it's select. So all, yes, from which table, the table actor, and then semicolon. Oh no, it's not working. Why? Select all from, okay, I have some error in the form. I missed the M. Okay, so now you can just see that we have the 4 row we previously inserted. So we have the first row, we have first name, we have last name, the second one, first name, last name, and so on and so forth. So we can just still add in some of the other information. Yes, and also, but what I can, okay, sure. Okay, sure. So now, that if I do that, I will not be able to. No. So what I will do is, I know what I will do. I will just, okay, let me just add another columns on this one. So I will just recreate another tables. I want to add a quantitative, but I can just, or should I just use this one? So it's about time. And okay, let me see if I can also add another one. So columns, and then so there is the actor ID and so on and so forth. So now let me put the age. Yes, let me put the age, and I'll just let proceed with that, and later I can see how to just do it. Yeah, because it's not about, okay. I will just proceed with this one because, okay. So what I want to do now is the select. I want to apply the select. So I already applied the select all from actor, and then I want to apply the. I want to show you the where statement. So the where statement is really depend on. So that's why I want to create another column. But let's make it simple. So the where statement is actually the. Okay, let me put. Okay, I have some error. I will just copy it without the comment because the where I put just above is actually a comment statement. So I want to select all from this actor tables, but where I had, let me see, where I have the last name equal to us. So the last name equal to us is just here. So if I select it, I will just have only one row. Yes. So it's really dependent. Let me see. Nice one. Okay. Okay, so I can just select whatever I actually want. And so also, I don't know if, let me see so later I will just, finally, should I really create, I have another tables here I was just creating, but okay, so let me just do it finally because I want to be able to do some of the computation like the sum, and let me just create another tables, and then from there I can just add another columns. So what I wanted to do before, let's say the age, for example, I want it to be an integer, for example. So now let me just go back and change the name of the table I want to create. So the table is actually the actor table. Let's say, yeah, it's still being actor, but let's say actor dot one to make a small difference. And then, so this one, okay, so I forget the semicolon. So now the table is created. And then let me just, I will select all from the, in someone asking to join, okay, il est courant. Okay. Then I want to select all from my table. So actor and one semicolon. So I don't have rows, but then I will just insert the data. So let me go back. So yes, I can just, let me just copy. So this one, I will just add another value for the age. So let's say 33. I will add this one. So I will insert into not actor, but actor one. And then I will have to run it. So I have to put the semicolon right. So the semicolon is there, and I put it. And then I want also to add another one. So let me see. So this is the last row. So I will put, let me just copy and pass it to make it here. So here I will just change actor one, and then one. Yeah, so I can just copy. I will just make the difference here. So this one let me put 30 for the value of the age, and this one let me put 40, and then for this one let me put 25. Yes, so those are the three ones. The last one I did it already, so I will just put it here. So now, yeah, I just copy that. I will put it here. So this is the first one. Let me put, and the second one, let me put it. Yes, semicolon, and then it's okay. The third one, let me put it here. I want to insert, so let me put it here. And what else I will do is to create some. So let me see if I can just duplicate and just make it fun. So I will, so this is the first name, right? Let's say I have last name equal to the same here, and then the first name, yeah, let me see, the first name I will just change it. Let me put Sean here, and here let me put Abubakar. Yeah, and here let me put John, and let me create another one. Yes, I can just, so same it. Okay, let me put Claire here, and then okay, so it's starting. So I will just copy this one. Okay, and I'll produce it here. Let me put memory, and then I will just reproduce all those one, the semicolons, semicolons, semicolons. And I also want to modify some information, like so this time, so I'm not about to use the time information now, so I can just leave it as that, but I want to use this information. I can just modify this, so I will write, so 26, and here I will just put the, okay, 32, and here, oh, excuse me, give me 1 minute. Okay, so I'm back. I was okay, so I will just so this one is about let me see, 45. Don't have 45, excuse me. And then okay, so this one let me give 33, and then okay, so I have it. I will just now copy. I want to reproduce to have a lot of value, and from there I can do some computation. Where was I? Okay, here. I will just pass it. So I want to, okay, this one I will give it 5. Like the actor ID is also changing. I will create it. This one I will give it, let me see. Okay, so I will give it 6. I will give it 6. Yeah, so I will just, and this one I will give it 7 as ID after 7, and then I will run it. And this one, for this one I will give it how much? Okay, 8, just to have some more value in my tables, to be able to do some small manipulation. And this one I give it 9, and I'll run it. So now I can select all from my tables. So the table is the actor one. Do I need the semicolon? Yes. Okay, so I have now the yeah. So I have all of them. So the four, okay, until 9. So now what else I can do is to apply the we see the select statement, and we also see the where statement. I told you, so it's depend on, so let's filter again. So select all from the tables, not actor, but let me see, actor one, where now the last name, okay, is equal to this. So now we should get, so this, this, so only two lines. So for the first one, the first line, the first name is Sion, and for the second line, the first name is Abubakar. So I will just put the semicolon in on it. So and we get exactly the two rows, and we have the age, which is actually looking good. So now what else I want to apply is the select distance. So the select distance, we have to write select distance and then the column name, and then from the tables name. So I will just select. So how do we use the select distance? Select, okay, let me select distance. And I want to say, so where do I have the how to say, where do I have the duplicate value? So I have it for, I have them, for example, in the last name and also in the age. So let me see for the age, for example, and then from which tables after one semicolon. Yes. So if I want to select distinct the age, then I'm getting 7 rows, 7 different age, because yes, as you can see here, I have some duplicates in the side. So for the 25, yes, I have about two, and also there should be another one. So I have duplicate information. So when I select distinct, then I have only 7. So I can also select distinct each column's last name. So the last name, if I try to select this thing, the last name, then I have, yes, I have only 4 because I just duplicate, remember. So now how to use also the group by. So the group by, I have to select. So if I want, I can just select distinct. If I don't want, I can just select. And then the column name or the list of the column. So follow. So if you list a column, you just say semicolon. You just write a column, and then you have to put another name and then column and then. So here I will just do it over. Let's say 2 columns because one will be okay. So I will select and the columns name from the table, and I can just group. So let me try to see select. So I will select which one. I will just select the last name. Oh no, let me select the first name. The first name will be the first name, and then let me select the age. So I have to group by height. So if I want to use group by, okay, I'm not using aggregation function. So I will just select let me select the last name, and then I will just put in the side of, okay, so I will put now the first name, and then I will say from my table after one, and what do I want to? I want to go by, but I want to go by the last name. So semicolon. Let's see. Oh my God, it's not working. Why? Must have changed the group by. Oh yeah, I want to. Yeah. I was doing that. So last name and then first name. So it will just first name and then semicolons, and then I have it. So now I have, so I can, it's like just group by, and also I can just let me see if I can apply okay, order by, the order by, but I can just like doing another group by, let me see, first name, so last name and the age, last name and the age. Yes, and from this one, and I want to put it also here, the age, and okay, so that's it. If I run it, then I have all the last name, so all the last name and actually the age just in the side. And then I want to use order by. So the order by statement is also simple. So I want to just order by default, it's order by ascendant. And if you specify, then it will do it from the biggest value to the smallest value, which is descending. So I will try also the select. What what will I apply that one? So I can just put all the, okay, so I will, let's see if it will work. I will put all the columns. So actor from actor one and order by, so I will just respect that. So order by and age. So by default, it just put it, so it's just doing it. It's ordering by age, but from the smallest value to the biggest one. So if I didn't specify, yes, you can just look at it here. So it's just ordering everything depending on the age columns. But I can try to, so let me see if this will work here. So it's okay. So now if I put the descendant, so if I specify the order of the ordering, uh, then it just respect it. So here I put descendant, and then it's just arranging everything from the biggest value of the age to the smallest value. So it's just arranging all of the other rows. And so if I actually decide to put ascendant, it will do the same thing as it was doing here. So I will just run it, and then you have it. And so this is how we use the order by. And also there is the having option. So the having option is just so we have to select, so distinct if you want, and then the column names, and then from the table's name, and then if you want, we put a condition. If you don't want, you don't have to put it. And okay, so having a condition, yes. So I will just, let me just try that. So I want to select, for example, what I will do is to select, for example, the what will I select? I will select the actor ID, and I will sum up the age, and I will give it as age. The output will also be age, and I will do it from actor, let's say actor one, and what, okay, I'll do it from actor one, and I will do it, I will do what, I will group by, because I'm doing an aggregation. So I'm doing an aggregation, I'm using the sum. So if I'm doing an aggregation, I should group by, because I'm doing the sum of the age, and I have another columns. So I will group by this. So this is the actor ID. The actor ID, yes. And then I will just I will add the having statement. So having what? Having the sum of the age. Okay, so I will, now I don't know if I need to, okay, do I need another parenthesis? We'll check it. So having the sum, and so this sum greater than, so I can use, so why will I use the actor ID? No, because I'm using the having option. I prefer using the last name because here I have at least some duplicate information, but here I don't have any duplicate information. So it will do the sum, but the having is not useful with that because all the actor ID are actually distinct. So I will use the last name. And oh, what I'm doing is, oh my God. Mm-hmm. I didn't run it and it's not. So let me just last name, and then the sum of the age and give it as age. And from, as I was saying, the actor one, and I want to group by, but I want to group by last name, and I want to do the having. So having what? So I want to do having sum of age. Okay. So I have to put the condition. So having the sum of the age. So let me put greater than 20. So let me see if this will work. So it's actually working. So you have to put your condition here. So in the having, so if you are doing an aggregation, you don't have to give the name of the result of the aggregation as this one. So if, let me make it clear, I will give a different name here because the age I'm using here is not this one, but is this one. So let me just change it. Let me say aggregated age. Aggregated age. So I'm not using, okay, then I have it. So I'm doing, so it's actually here, if I put here directly the aggregated age, it will just return an error. Let me try it. So it's logically returning me an error, but if I am putting the sum exactly like I put it here, it will just work. So the sum of the age, so I will, okay. Oh, why is, okay. So I will put now the sum of the age, but the sum of the age should be, so let me remove that. And then the sum of the age should be, I want to put a condition, let's say greater than 40 or greater than 60, and then semicolons, and then we have it. Then we have it. So if I change it to 80, let me see if we get any, okay, we have Alfonso as last name, which is giving this. So that's what I want to show you there for the having, and then aggregation, you already know that. So, but another aggregation, so I just use the sum function for the aggregation in the previous query, but I will use now the count. So because the main aggregation function we have is the sum, the average count, the average, the count, and everything else. So I will try to use the average this time. So what I will do is to select, so the last name, and then I will compute over the last name. What will I compute over the last name? I will do the average of the age, and from my table actor dot actor one, and then I will just, so I didn't give any name to the output of the average age, but it will work also. So I'll do that. And when I'm using aggregation function, I have to group by. So I will group by last name. I will go up, I will group by last name and then semicolons. So I will get now the value of the average of the last name. So now, as I didn't give any output name to this, average age, it's just returning me the average as name. But I can just specify here. So give me this as give me this as average age, and I can run it. You can see that the name has changed from AVG to AVG age. So I'm just using the yes, and you can also use the having option on this aggregation function too, exactly like we did above. And also another aggregation function is another aggregation function is the count. You can also count. So if I have to count, yes, I will also get it. So I count it, but I have to give it a different name. No, I will just say, okay, give me it as, so yeah, I can do it. I can do it. Count age. And from there, I will just get it. And then what else I can do is, so I can also decide to sum the distance, and also I can combine the sum and the where. So I can use that one. So if I want to do, I can do the average, for example, but only so I can just add a where statement. So I will filter on. Okay, let me see that. Okay, so that is what I wanted to do. Where was I in the command line option? Yes, so I have to group by this 1 minute. Remove now. Okay, excuse me. So now I want to add a where statement here. So I want to do it where I have the last name equal to what? But can I do it from, okay, let me see something. The first thing, the first thing I filter on, I was using the, okay, so I can use this string. So I have to put it, so I want to see this. Okay, so I can just add a where statement to filter also. So you have a lot of options, and all those options are actually available in all relational database systems. So that's why that's exactly what I want to show you. So you can just use them when query your thing. And you have other things like combining the distance with the sum, and then group by with the sum, and then where group by and sum at the same time. So it's really depend on what you want to do. So all the other things are just like combining what you already know: aggregation, filtering, grouping by, having, ordering. So the thing you already know. So those one are about to join in case you want to join a lot of tables. So at least two tables, for example. Yes, so it's, I don't have two tables here, but you can do it later. I can just share this with you. So if you want to use the join, let me put it. But you already know that. You already know that. So it's about from table one and then join table two on the primary key equal to this. Yes, and then it will just retrieve all information from both table which match the condition which you specify here. Yeah, you can just practice, and then if you have any issue, just reach out to me. I will just help. And the other things I want to, so we are running out of time, but the other thing I want to share with you is, maybe I will share also this file. So it's about the data type. So the most important, you already know them. So the numerical type, so you can have small n. So small n, the name is already describing what it's doing. So it's like small int and then integer and then big int. So according to each type of data type, you have the according range of number you can actually use. So if you are using small int, you have to use all number from this value in the minus side to the value or opposite value in the plus side. And then integer, it have some more biggest entry range, and then big N, and then decimal. So everything is described, and then real. So the real, you know, the difference between the real and the decimal, and then numeric, just to not give a big precision, double precision, and then serial, and then so you will just have to read. I will share this file, and you will just have to go for and read the what is each of them is about. Yeah. And then the character, so the character you have to, so it's depending on the, so it's about the what we call qualitative variables in statistics. So it could just be text, it could just be character, it could just be, yes, everything. And so you can just go on and try, and also go in your PG admin and look at your tables, and then from there what you have in terms of variable type, data type for each variable. You can just look at those as simple. And you have also the binary data type, and then the daytime data type. Yes, so if you are using timing information, you have all the data type related to timing. So I summarize it there. I can share with you in today's folder. And then the boolean, which is the yes or no. Yes. I wanted to, I'm feeling tired, so I will just stop here. I hope you enjoyed the session. If you have any questions, just ask me quickly, and also we can continue discussing on Slack. But this is basically what I want to share with you today. Yes, go on.
Hello.
Ilekwa? Yes, go on. Yeah, good morning.
Hello. Yeah, good morning. Okay, the question is this. Sometimes when you talk about these subqueries and the rest, so when you see a problem, how do you know that, okay, I need to use subqueries and use this and stuff like that? So I don't know if you can just give like an overview of, like when you see a problem, like you want to use SQL, like how do you know that, okay, I'm to use a subquery or stuff like that? So even if you're not given the task to do, maybe you just want to explore the
If I
data.
summarize well what you are saying, when I'm running a query and I have a problem or an error, how do I know the way to solve it, right? Okay.
No, 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 no. What I'm saying is like you using
Okay.
a subquery. Like how do you know when to use a subquery
Oh
to
yeah,
solve a
yeah, yeah, yeah,
particular
yeah. So
task?
this one, the subquery are just, I think most of time I use it when the query, the task I want to solve is just requiring a complex query. So if it's actually requiring a complex query, to not make it to be able to quickly get where the error will come from, where in case you have an error running the query, you will just like split it, and then you will have to do some query, and some query become very useful because it will just like, as the name is indicating, it's subquery. So it will run some, it will split the big complex task into small tasks, and then you will just use it. So you can use subquery or you cannot just use it depending on the complexity of the task you want to use. So if I want to do a very big task, I know I will be doing pivot table, I will be doing aggregation, I will be doing joining at the same time. So I will not use only one. I will use subquery to actually handle some level because before I come back to the final. Yeah. I hope this help you. Ilekwa, do you get Ilekwa? Ilekwa? Are you getting me? Can you still get me? Or
Yes, yes,
okay,
thank you.
okay, sure, sure.
Yes, I think I have a bad
Okay,
network.
okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, okay, can a new column be added to the table to?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, can a new column be added to the table to achieve that? Yeah, 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 yeah. You do that by alter table, I think. So there is a function to actually, there is a statement to actually add a new column to an existing table. Yeah, Rofia, definitively, yes. So it's, I think it's alter tables. So, but you can check it on internet, but definitively, yes, there is possibility to add a new one. And also, yeah, yeah. So that's the thing. So, and if any other question, just reach out in Slack and feel free to help each other. If you have resources, just share with each other and let's help. I told you, me also, I don't know everything, but we are all a family now and we should learn from each other. Yeah. Okay, so that's all I want to share with you this time. If anything else to, if nothing else to add, I will just stop the recording and then we can continue talking.
Hello,
Yeah,
hello.
hello, hello. Yeah,
Please, sorry for taking you back. The question three.
okay.
I don't know the monthly usage time of learners who have confirmed and are not deleted. I don't know. I've tried thinking about that thing, but I've not been able to solve it. So I don't know if you have any resources or any clue on how we can go about it.
The question three, let me see. No, 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 no. The task one.
Yes, on tax one, the monthly usage time of learners.
Yeah, monthly usage time of learners who have confirmed and are not deleted. Yes, so now there should be a colon for the confirm or not confirm, and there should also be a colon for the deleted or not deleted. So these two things are about using the where statement to filter on, and also monthly usage time. So this is about an aggregation. So the usage time is the amount of time. So there should be a colon, actually a duration colon, which on which you should be able to sum up the usage in terms of duration of learners. So the learners, you have learners ID. Of course, I don't know. I didn't go in detail, but I will look at that and maybe we can discuss about on Slack. I didn't look at this yet, but I can look at that and we can discuss about it on Slack. But at the first view, I can just say, yes, those 13 is about filtering, and then monthly usage is about an aggregation, especially the sum. So if we can just, so if we say monthly, yes, so it's like for the first month, maybe we have January, February, and until December, and then for each of those months, and for with associating those two conditions, confirmed and not deleted, we can just like sum the duration in terms of time of the usage. Yes, but I can, so that's a first few idea I have, but definitively I can look at the table who is having, which is having those information, and also the columns, and from there I can just give some more idea in Slack. Yeah. Is that work for you? Okay.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Bam, bam. So I will. Okay. So I'm stopping now the recording and